Hello and welcome. We're back again with our Global Inspiration Stamp Team group. I think I've got the cameras up and running. Those of you who follow me know that I don't like doing this, not on camera, in my usual way. Anyway, big welcome to you. So I'm near the end this time. And after me, you've just had the lovely Ginny's lovely projects. And so we're all using the 2025 to 27 Newton colours. So I'm going to show you those in the catalogues. I know the others girls will have shown you. I haven't had a chance to catch up with many of them, and certainly none from yesterday because I wasn't at home. But the in colours are here on page 137 in the new annual catalogue. We can actually show you now. It's been under wraps for so long. I've been so tempted to open the book as normal, but I'd get my wrist slap if I did that. But it's all open and above board now. So there's the in colours are all down here. We've got Strawberry Slush, Timid Tiger, Darling Duckling, Cloud Cover, and the Secret Sea. The Secret Sea I've wanted to keep renaming. And these are the markers that go with it, just so I could just bring something out just to show you the 5. Now, I'm going to be using all 5 today. So I'm going to get that out of the way. I've got everything lined up here, hopefully, so we won't have any pictures. So get rid of that one. And I'm going to start off by showing my project. It has got a little bit of a twist to it because it was nearly an Australian card. So here is my card using the Impressions Abloom. It's a beautiful set. I absolutely love it. It's got all the dies in there, lots of dies and lots of stamps. They do pair up in here nicely. So I've paired these ones up. That one's just fallen out. But this is one of my tips, to link them together with a piece of Scotch tape. So if you have the outer and the innie, like this one is, it's a little bit bent because it got caught in my mini trimmer. But line them up exactly together so you don't have to keep searching for them all the time. Just spend a little bit of time, just swap them down, find their home, and just pop a piece of tape across them. And then when you just pop those out, you can actually keep the tape on there. They're already in the right place. So it just kind of saves you. The other thing I've done in the past is actually put a little black Sharpie dot on here and a black Sharpie dot on here. So you can see them line up. The only danger with that is as you run them through the machine, that can wear off. So just to be warned, there's another little one there, the little innies, just so that it does the embossing piece at the same time. And our stamps, beautiful stamps in there, and a stray little baby flower there. So that's my set I'm using today. Get that one out of the way. So this is my card. I've done something very similar. I was going to show you the alternatives at the end. I've done something very similar recently. So I'm actually using all 5 of the in colours. So I really like this one. So I hope you do too. The reason it nearly ended up as an Australian card was not quite Australian, but it was nearly this one. I wanted it this way up, and the greeting was this direction. And then I went to open it, and it opened that way. So that's the reason it got turned around. But we'll do something different today, maybe. I'll see how long it takes to get there. Okay, so that's where we are at the moment. I haven't put any of the gems on there. The gems are beautiful. I'm sure the others have shown you these. They are absolutely lovely. They're called flat gems. The in colour flat pearls, sorry, but they have got this lovely effect on them. They really glisten. They've got like a metallic-y effect on them, but they really catch the eye. That's really nice. So we might add some this time on the project we're making. So first of all, I'm going to take my cutter, and I'm going to use both sides of that. So I'm going to get the legs out. Sorry, I've left a couple of bits in there. As I'm doing that, I'm just going to show you a quick little tip. I can see in the top of my trimmer up here, I have some cards stuck in there, some white cards. So I'm just going to get another piece of scrap card. I'm just going to try and coax that one out. There it is. It's just gone out the other side there. And you can run it all the way down here. Every now and again, it's a good idea just to do that and get all that dust and fluff out. Okay, just grab a piece out of your bin. That's a good one to do. So I'm going to start with my piece of Secret Sea. I must remember the right names. I was calling it the Secret Spa before. So these are your measurements. So I'm going to leave those on there so you can see them. So our A4 papers, I'm going to score it at 10 centimetres. Okay. This is a DL card, so it will go in a standard DL office envelope. And I've done before when I've shown you actually how to make your own out of a sheet of DSP. So we're scoring the sheet at 10 centimetres. That is 4 inches in your imperial. And then it's going to move it along to the 20 centimetres and I'm going to cut it at 20, which would be your 8 inches for your imperial. So I'm going to take those 2 little stickers off and put them on there. Shot of that. So that's that piece cut and ready. So I'm going to score into the bump, the ridge side here. Just pull up my iron folder. So I can't see if there's anybody on here with me. I think I've got some eyes on there. I've got 5 eyes on there, so that's good. So I'm just going to line those up on those 2 points and score that with my bone folder. Sometimes I do both sides as well. And then for the layers, so I've chosen to do the cloud cover as my next layer on here. So this was 9.5 by 20 centimetres. I didn't write that on there, but centimetres, you'll know that, metric people. And then 3 7/8 by 7 7/8 for the imperial. So I'm going to get that one down onto my layer. I'm going to do this in 2 halves. I'm going to just work on the bottom bit and put it aside, and then work on the centre panel and build them together. So this is over here. There we go. On that, now, had I not been on air, you can always gut this if you've got some greetings to cut out or some smaller dies. You can sandwich, take them out here, because it's only going to be a sandwich between this and your designer series paper. So for my designer series paper, I'm using the papers. I've just watched Katie, and she used the celebratory sips. Now I'm using the back of this one. So this is the ones with the big glasses on it that Katie went through with you, and I'm using this one here, the cloud cover. Okay, I love this set, and I'd heard her saying about the fussy cutting. I am that girl. I don't have the set, but I've been fussy cutting lots of these little tiny images sat in front of the television with a lap tray. So that's very rewarding, yeah, just to get lots done, and then you're ready to craft when you're ready. So on my DSP layer here, I've cut that at 20 centimetres by 9 centimetres. So 7 3/4 by 3 3/4. Yeah, just checking that should be right over there. Get this one glued down. I hate covering up these gorgeous colours, but hey, needs must, we have to. Our beautiful double-sided papers. So this is going to come down onto there. Okay. Now I'm going to position this one so I've got the opening this way. I'm just going to put that liner in there, and again that's the same size as the DSP layer, so just copy those measurements. Now our show special today, we're going to be giving you a PDF with any purchase with your demonstrator, so do get in touch with them. The catalogue's lovely and new and very busy time, so do get in touch with them. So sometimes I like to just press that down on the edges to make sure it's set. So I want this card to be this way up, or we might do another one this way and do a different greeting. We'll see when we get there. So I'll set that aside. Now for my next layers, I have some pre-prepped pieces here in my case. So I have got 2 layers. The bottom one here is the 5.3 by 16.3. It's just a few mils bigger than the top one. And this one is the layer we're working on. I've stuck some of them down, and I'm going to show you some tips with the rest. So the little, this piece of white, with a basic white here, is 5 centimetres by 16, or 2 inches by 6 1/4. And then my little pieces here, I want to show you a tip with these. I'm going to move everything out of the way. I'm going to just demo those strips to you. If you're trying to do something like this with lots of strips, what I like to do is cut a piece to the depth of what you're looking at. So you're looking at this width on depth on here. So this is 1 3/4 inches or 4 centimetres. So then I take my mini cutter, or you can do it in the big one as well, it doesn't matter which way. And then whatever length this is, I cut it to a round number. So I'm going to cut this piece to 10 centimetres and cut that piece away. Then I'm going to move it down. I want them to be 1.5 centimetres or 1/2 inch. Okay, so 1.5 centimetres off 10, I will bring that down to 9 and then 8.5. So if I chop that now, that piece I'm cutting off is going to be 1.5, but I'm taking the measurements from this end. Okay, so I'm going to come down another 1/2 and then another 1. Let's take it down to 7. And then cut that off, and you've got those pieces ready. And you can carry on all the way across there, and you could make multiple cards just by measuring the depth of it and cutting those off like this. Okay, so pop those in there. I think I've got one too many now, but pop those away. And then we will carry on with this strip. I'm not going to attach these two pieces together yet. What I like to do, let's leave that there out of the way. What I like to do is get them adhered down. I laid all these pieces out in the first instance. So when you've got your piece of white, I turned it over. I'll just turn it over to show you something. The middle of this is 16. So the middle of this is 8 centimetres. So what I did, I went 1 millimetre to the right of the 8 on the top and at the bottom. Okay, near the bottom, because you're going to have a little gap along there, so you can see me there. And then what I did when I was putting these pieces together, I placed this strawberry slash piece just over those pencil marks. So we're covering the pencil marks up, and the strawberry slush was in that position. So that was the middle. And then I placed the secret C the other side. Then all I did was worked outwards in the order that I wanted those pieces. That gives you enough room on here for a little tiny gap. Just a little tiny gap. Just try and get them as even as you can. And then the pieces I've got left to go on there, I think there's, there's 4 there. So I'm going to do these in the same order. So I'm going to have the yellow, the Darling Duckling, and then the Timid Tiger, Cloud Cover, and lastly the Secret Sea. So these are just with my Tombow. I'll bring him back on. There's one comment on there, 15 people. I can't see the comments, can I? I'll catch up on the comments later. I'm really sad that I can't see them. When I do my own lives on my own channel, it's absolutely fine. It's just the lovely Facebook changes things. So in a group, we now can't use our streaming programs. So that's Darling Duckling. So I'm now doing the Timid Tiger. Just leave, oh, I've knocked that one. It's still, the glue's still wet. You've got a little bit of wiggle room. Make sure that's the gap you want. I'm going to put the next one down, keeping them in line at the top and bottom. A little tiny gap. Careful not to knock it. And then Cloud Cover. The other thing we have is the delay on seeing it live. So it's just a little 30-second delay there. And then lastly, Secret Sea. Now I've judged these roughly, so the starting pieces, the measurements I've given you, should be about right. Now you might find that you'll get to the end, if you've left them a little bit tighter or a little bit looser, you might find that here I've got a little tiny gap. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go along with my trimmer and I'm going to cut the other end to match. So we've just got that little tiny white piece, and this is the cutting edge on your trimmer, so you just want to have that on that blade. Just grab my glasses so I can see that that is just on the edge there, and then those two ends are even. And then if you like, you can come down this way. You might struggle on the length of this one on the little trimmer because it's just that little bit awkward. If I do this, I don't want to drag it, that's the trouble. So I'm going to put this in the cutting track, just that tiny little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start this in the centre. Instead of dragging a tiny little piece along, if you press it down and you go up and down and pray, then you should just take that little slither off, okay? So that piece is done, and I'm going to do the same this side. So just line that up in the groove on there, and start this blade in the centre, okay? You don't want it to drag from the top. If it comes out like that, you want to start it again and just come into the middle here, go up and down, okay? And then those pieces come out nicely, okay? When you're doing it live on air as well, you kind of need to make sure you pray so that it's not going to wisp up on you. Now this comes on here, and it's up to you whether that's a good fit. I think that's a good fit. There's a tiny little whisper on there, so if I move my water out of the way, I did have a sanding block somewhere. My sanding block has gone walkies. So I'm going to take my scissors and just snip that little fray off at the end there. Just a little tiny bit there. and then this way on as well from that direction. Should just take that off. Glasses down again. And just right up to the edge there and right along there. There you go, that little whisker's gone now. So this piece is going to be adhered down here. I like the border that I've got on there, so I'm going to just turn that over. Adhere that one down. A little line through the middle. That gives a lovely even border. Like I say, the measurements I've given you should be absolutely fine. Just a tiny little bit of trimming perhaps required, and then if you take a piece off, you just want to make sure that the bottom one is good as well. So that's my panel that's going to go on here. Now at this stage it's still going to be in the middle and it's going to be put onto foam pads. So I'm happy with that. So I'm going to put several on here. I don't like these long pieces to sag in the middle. So I'm just going to keep putting the dimensionals on, and then we'll put one in the middle. Oh, I've taken the back off. One in the middle, and then again one in the middle. It seems excessive, but I don't want them to sag in transit. Let's take those off. Oops, daisy. And that one. Sticky. There we go. So we're just going to look over here and just place that in the centre, trying to eyeball this nice and evenly from both ends and top to bottom. Okay. So I think we're about right there. Okay, so that's now where we're at. We're going to decide as to what greeting we would like. No, the flowers first. Flowers. The flowers will depend on what greeting you would like to put on there. Now I've done one for you, but because we've got time, I'm going to be doing a different greeting. I've used, on this one, I've used the Simply Said bundle, a stamp set. So I've used this one here, the Just a Note, which is really nice. But I'm thinking if I was to do this one, perhaps the Happy Birthday or one of the thank yous, I'd like to do one of the long words, and that could sit above those flowers. So you could have a nice little banner on there, or even put it in the middle. Okay, so I'm going to do that piece first. I'm going to set this aside, and we're going to get embossing. There's the little flowers waiting to come and make an appearance. Got a little tip to show you as well with those dies in a sec. So we'll do the stamping first. I had a long block. I think I'll do the Happy Birthday. I can't look to see the comments, what everybody decides in there, so I'll use Happy Birthday. And out of reach, just grab my scraps of my Secret C. I've got a smaller piece in there. Who else is excited? Pop in the comments which in colour you're excited about most. I love the Strawberry Slush coming back, because that was a previous colour that we've had a long while ago in my early days, but that was really nice. But I love the combination of the Cloud Cover and the Secret Sea. I think those two are just, these two blues at the end here, I just think they're so nice together. But they all have a good place in our colour palette, so I'm really pleased with that. So I've done the Dust Buddy over here. This is just to wipe that over, because we're going to heat emboss. And then I'm going to stamp this in Versamark onto here. Just make sure that gets inked up nicely. This is my first using of this stamp set. Unfortunately, I lost my first set, so I've bought another set, which has only just arrived yesterday. And I'm sure the other one will turn up, but I'm not worried, because classes, it will be handy to have two sets of this. It's a good all-round greeting set. It's a nice, simple, nice fonts, but simple, everyday use of words. So I'm really, I think it's going to be a good one. So now I'm going to take my my white embossing powder, place this on my little piece of grid paper, and sprinkle that on. Flip all the little pieces off. It is the first time this has been used, it's been inked up at all, so I'm going to do, I think I'm going to turn that around and do another one, the other side. Often when you do it the second time inking, that's with any stamp, it kind of like conditions it, and it gets it used to, it sort of like settles it down, I don't know, but it It's a good habit to get into. If it was an ink, I'd stamp it onto my grid paper. Okay, pop that on there without knocking the other one, powder off the other one. Let me come on here again. So already I like that one better. So I'm going to tip this powder back into the pot. There, and that's my white one. I have one of these sheets for each colour that I have. All the metallics, all the basics. Okay, and through here we have the heat tool. It's going to be a bit noisy. I'm just going to heat this until it melts, but it doesn't overcook. It is possible to overcook your embossing. So I hope you can hear okay. And I don't waft it either, I just heat it at one end and then you can start to see it changing and go shiny and lovely and white. Okay, turn it around and do the other side. There we go. Let's switch it off. We let that cool just for a little bit. And I had my dies here. I'm hoping, because I've done the other design, I was just hoping that this one is going to fit in. These are the stylish shapes. Let's take that out. Take those in. So these are the stylish shapes dies. These have held over into the new catalogue, so I'm really pleased with that as well. And this one is just going to clip that edge. It's just going to be this one's too big, too large. So do I want to risk that? I'm going to just split these up. And with the one that I didn't like so much, I'm going to just try it and see whether that's going to go. Okay, which one would you like best? They're both alright actually. Pop those away and bring my little baby cutter. Get those measurements out of the way now as well. Keep the desk tidy. So my mini cutting emboss machine, I've got the stretchy plate, we've got the base plate, and I've got two twos here just to sandwich them between. And I always tape these down. So I'll put a little piece on those. Let's do a little piece the other end. When our plates start to get warped, excuse me, I'm a bit croaky today. When our plates start to get a little bit warped, we just need the tape just to make sure that it anchors it down properly. Use that piece on this end. Another check just to make sure it's nice and straight. It's not really caught that side very well, but we'll be quick with that. And run that through. Take this off. Because the die's cut inside of that, I think we're going to be okay because I'm sure I've used this before. There we go, look, we've got that one done. I will just do this one again just to make sure that you kind of understand what I'm doing. And I think I like this one slightly better. This was a second impression, I believe. It's a little bit more white than the first stamping. Okay, make sure we're happy. Happy for a happy birthday. Through the middle, just gently with my nail. And there we go, we've got two of those. I've got some little dust particles on here from the embossing. So it's just gritty. So I'm just going to wipe that off. Pop this away in the die straight away on the magnet so I don't lose it. And then we're going to just see how bring that card back and see how that's going to look on here. I think I'm going to go for, oh, there's not much in it. That's the nicest one on there. So, decisions now is, would we like this card to be this way up and have a greeting coming through the middle somewhere? But the flowers are going to tell as well. We need to just curl these. Now, if you've got the Stampin' Pierce mat, you can actually just use a ball tool that is in your, take the pick tool. I tend to just, for quickness, I just use my knuckle in the back of my hand. It's in the palm of my hand there. And just quickly curl those. Or you can use your the rounded end of the tombow. You can do it that way as well to save your knuckle. So if I just line these all up. So I already die cut these, as I showed you earlier, with the, just take the 2 layers together. The first layer, you'll probably see it better on the dark ones. The first layer will cut the outside, and the inner piece does the detailed pieces on here, the like embossing in there, the cut lines. Okay, they're really pretty. And that's all with all 3 duos of the flowers. There we go. Beautiful strawberry slush. And then timid tiger. And there is a right and a wrong side to your dies. This one's the wrong way up. The clearer side is the right side. So I don't want them upside down. So if I lay these down as I did on the last one, the order of the last one, I'll go down to just with each one like this, alternate, and alternate them. There, and there. You can see how quickly that comes together. So the only pre-cutting I did was the die cutting of those. I'm not sure that this one's going to sit nicely over the raised flowers. It's going to be a bit tall, isn't it? It's too big a greeting to go through there. So if we turn this with the opening at the bottom, where we'd like it to be properly, and then pop these down here like my sample is, okay, then this could actually come, do them from the top, let's do it that way, and then have this along the bottom. So I'm actually going to reverse those, I think. So then this greeting could come along here now and sit on the edge. Just maybe in the middle, half on and half off, or over to one side. I think I like that better. So I'm going to anchor those down, but I'm going to just take off the ones on the edge on these ones first. So if I do the alternate ones, I'm going to have my tombow. So I'm going to just place these on here. I'm placing them on the edge, which is half on and half off. And then I've got a closed tombow. I'm just using this rounded edge to keep that shape. And then I'm going to put that in the middle just to press it down. They want to be firmly anchored, half on and half off. Okay, like so. You could do these as little clusters on opposite corners as well. But because we're highlighting all 5 of the in colours today, I just thought it'd be nice to do the whole lot. What I like about these dies, you can actually do all 3 sets together. There's 3 duos that you can take together and put them on your cutting plate at the same time. So, and you can put some leaves on there at the same time as well. So you can cut several at a time. So it's good for economical cutting. Because I've cut these ahead of time, it's not too monotonous for you to watch me do this, I hope. And nearly there. And last but not least, on the end there. And then we can take that one away, and then we're going to put this one on here. So we could put, like I said, we could put it in the middle, put it over to one side. We put it over this side. I tend to lean to the right hand side, I don't know why. If we put it here, you won't really see those little flag ends. So I think I'm going to put that half on and half off, like so. So I'm going to put a little tiny piece along the top edge on there of some offcuts of the dimensionals, which were sitting beside me here. So I've got just going to snip some of these edges along here. So these little small pieces. In fact, if I just grab the other ones, the other dimensionals are there. Thought I had some strips in here. Bear with. So these are the ones I'm looking for. with the mini dimensionals, we'll use these ones instead. With the mini dimensionals, you get this long border here. Hopefully you can see that. It's a long piece of border all along the edge there. So you can actually cut these at the width you want them. So cutting half a dimensional like this will be absolutely brilliant. So I can put those along that top edge. So just take one bar at a time. You'll see them more on the, when they're on the dark card. So I need this to be along this edge. Okay, and I'll take these off as I go. Put one each end. And one in the middle. And take that off. There we go. And then this other edge is going to have the tombow along it. Oh, you know what? I've just done that back to front, haven't I? I want them on the bottom edge. That's the beauty of live, you see. Look, they can come off. Just as well I cut more. There you go. Now I want to see that on the other side. So, because I've turned it over, the top bit is the flat bit, the bottom bit is where I need those. So there's some more on there. Look, I'll just cut a couple, another one there. So I'm going to put them this edge so that it will be hanging off at the bottom. So we'll get it right the second time. Quick recovery. On that one in the centre. Take that off. Little white bits everywhere now. So just squeeze that through. Tiny little line along there. And then the adhesive, the tombow is going to sit on the edge of the card. Okay, and then the 3D is going to bring it up to the same level as our middle panel is, because they're on pads as well. There we go. Now we've got to do the centre of the flowers next. I've got a little tip for this one. So I'm going to just bring these over. I have pre-cut these. These are tiddly. These are really tiny. So you kind of need to, yeah, have a little tub. These are our empty trinket boxes, the gems and things we've had in the past. So I do keep all of those. There's a couple of stray leaves in there as well. And what we're going to do is take our, I've done one lot for you already. I'm going to take our mini glue dots. Now these are great, and for demos on who are going to be watching and team members, I'm going to just say this is how I pack up my kits when I need kits for classes. I've torn off 5 mini glue dots there. I have my take your pick putty end here, and I'm going to just pick these out of here, pick one of each, but I do want to make sure I get the right side up, not the back sides of them. So I'm going to put a yellow one there, a timid tiger, a cloud cover, a secret sea, there'll be a strawberry slush hiding under there somewhere, there we go. So pick up the strawberry slush, and they're all in there. Like I say, just make sure that you don't pick up the raw side, because you'll get the scratches from your plates. And then all I'm going to do on here is put them in the same order. I've got one here I prepared earlier. Those of you in the UK, it's a Blue Peter moment. It was a program we used to have when we were youngsters, and they had here's one I prepared earlier moments. So that one's going in there. You can put these where you like, but I tried to just make sure they weren't clashing. So the orange went on this one. Cloud cover went on. Oh, it's on its reverse one, so that went on there. So those two are switched over, and then the strawberry slush was on the yellow. Strawberry slush was on the cloud, the secret sea, and the one left is on the darling duckling. Okay, so just do all of that again. That was one whole set. So I'm just going to repeat all of those. That one's going to come on there. Because there's an odd number, they're in different positions, which makes it look nice. That one was on there. Timid tiger. Release that one. He's going on there. Strawberry slush is going to go on there. And darling duckling is going to go on strawberry slush. They should all be covered now. That's good. So again, I just tend to use my tombow and just go and press those down. It's a jelly dot, it's a glue dot. So just to make sure they've adhered down properly. There we go. And there's the card is finished. Now I just want to see whether we want to put some gems on here as well. See, if I was going to put them on here, because I've used this is my base, any of the colours would work. Any colour combinations for your base layer, your centre layer here, the same. Because I've put the Secret C on there, I think I might just pop some of the gems on here. So I'm going to put my little famous trio. Just going to pick up one of the large one and pop it up there. And then I'll pick up the medium one and pop it there. Take Pick tool is absolutely fabulous for doing this, for picking up your gems. That putty end on the end would just literally slide it along and pop it down. There you go. When they're in place, just make sure you press them down firmly. And there is my finished card. Okay, so we have that one, and then we have the one we did earlier. The only reason it went that way was because I'd done it as a card, opening the wrong way, this way. Okay, so we've got two facing the same way, but you can see what you can do with different size greetings. Okay, so that's my project for today. Just put my lid on the Take a Pick so I don't let that dry up. So that's that done. Now I have my pile of alternatives. Okay, so we'll take those two out of the way. And this was one that I made very similar to this. So we had a class recently with Jackie, who's one of the early presenters. I think she was yesterday. She had a video up, and we used the same product. We were using, she encouraged him to see all the new in colours. So it's a simpler version on a standard size card. And the back layer here I embossed, I textured embossed on there. And then these pieces, we stuck to a piece of white card and then put the whole piece through the embossing folder. This is the plaid, but it was done at a crisscross, so it went diagonally. Okay, so that was that one. And then I have a selection of all 5 of the in colours, doing the same design with the Archers set. It's a gorgeous set. I do like everyday Archers. I really do love that as well. So I did all 5 of the in colours for our display reasons, so we could showcase as much of the in colours as we could. So I hope you like those. And each one has got its corresponding gems on there, the flat back pearls. Okay, and I've used different sentiments from the Simply Said sentiments on here. So I've used the ones all in this font. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, and that one's the Thinking of You up here. So as I said, all 5 colours, 5 different sentiments. It's a good way to make bulk cards. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed those. Our next event, just remind you about the show special, the PDF, with any orders, just contact your demonstrator and they will sort that out for you. That will be out in a few days. And then next up is going to be a Maureen on the hour. So where are we now time-wise? Yeah, in about 20 minutes, Maureen will be here. And then after her, we've got Angie to close. Okay, so our date of our next event, if I'm right, it's the Friday the 11th and Saturday the 12th of July. So mark your calendars and make sure that you're ready to watch our presentations in the next 2 months on. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed our presentations today. Enjoy the last 2, and don't forget you can always go back and watch them on repeat at your leisure at a later date. So take care and see you again soon. Bye for now.